Hey, welcome to the Heapsgood Productions Advice and Inspirations Podcast. Today we have Liew speaking his experiences and telling us a little bit about some of his work, as well as going into a conversation with me about our past collaborations and the magic that we have worked on together. And through this podcast, I'll be showing a little bit of Liew's content. And at the end, I'll be showing some teasers of what Liew has created and for his up-and-coming work. It's an interesting podcast for me because we go deep into the topic of how it is to be a filmmaker and how we're battling it out here in Norway to pay the bills at the end of the day. Anyway, I present to you podcast number 1, and I look forward to sharing this. So enjoy. Bye. Hey, Liew.
Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for taking the time to be on the debut podcast show of A&I's. How are you, man?
I'm fine. Thank you. It's an honor to be invited. Yes, really.
Magic. Liew, so for the audience of this podcast, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you based and what are you doing in the world of filmmaking?
My name is Liew. Liew, actually it's my family name, but everybody call me Liews here in Norway. I started or get into the film industry, by making music in beginning.
Right.
Back in 2012-13, I think so. And I got my bachelor in music production here in Oslo. In 2015.
Great.
And then by then it was very difficult. Music industry, it was like very, start going down. It's not, nobody's going to buy an album anymore. So I felt it kind of, but it's not wasted.
No.
When I still learn, I have the knowledge still from making music and recording things, and I bring my own knowledge now into the filmmaking.
Okay, great.
So
Nice. Okay, and you were making music videos in Oslo, was that right?
I had one music video but that's not made by me. I was just simply a music composer for the song. It's called the Winter Song.
By
myself.
Oh, great.
I'm the composer. So but back in that time, the filming of the production, people singing, it's not done by me because I haven't had that knowledge, and I was hired a film photography. I think it was like 15,000 for a day or so.
Wow.
Not the whole day. Like just 4 or 5 hours. But it was worth it, I think. To get a professional by that time to do such a good. I think where the message of the song, it's simply don't give up. And it's cold in the winter. And it's a little bit cheesy, maybe, I don't know, if I look back now, but I still, the message, it's kind of a warm message, just to take care of each other, in the cold time.
And it is cold in Norway in the winter, as we both know.
It's -10. We have to go out and film in this weekend at the night time. It's -10. It's not like super cold. -10 if you stand outside for 6 and 7 hours, that you will feel definitely. the cold. Yeah.
It doesn't matter the boots you've got. That cold creeps its way into those shoes.
Yeah. You have to have very good shoe, even though a very two socks I normally have.
Yeah.
One is the thick one, and the inside one. Yeah.
So what are you doing on that production?
I'm maybe a sound man, a boom operator. Just get the dialogue of the characters. I also have to put the lavalier on them, and then plus the boom mic though.
Yeah, sort of a standard operation for keeping it safe when recording audio.
Yes.
So is that
Because,
that's your main role, is it, or are you're a bit of a multi-tool in the film industry? You're not just doing audio, but filming and composing music as well, as you said before in the introduction. So what is your main job as a in the film industry here in Norway?
Mainly, I now work as a sound man.
Yeah.
Because I kind of branded myself as a sound man, and I have the knowledge for sure, and I'm very passionate about photography.
Yeah.
I think it's one of besides sound, I find it very interesting to get like you say, photography. It's like photo. I mean, in Latin, it's mean light.
Yeah.
And graphy, it's mean a painting. So the light paints, right? When we photography something, it's like when the light hits something, then you can see that, like human eye, which can see. So I think working on light is also very, very interesting subject that maybe we can also talk about.
Absolutely.
With the light, yeah.
I mean, that's something that I've also been focusing a lot on recently is actually how to light a scene. I mean, light is absolutely imperative to have when filmmaking or photography. It's interesting how much you can do with light, and also by taking light away in some circumstances. I mean, it's
Yes.
definitely now as I've progressed as a filmmaker, I've noticed more and more how important good quality light is for filmmaking, for example, and enough light.
Yes.
And that's something that of a learning process, I feel, that a lot of people don't necessarily understand when they first start working or even experimenting with photography or filmmaking, that light has such a big impact. When was, actually, to kind of go on with this conversation, when was the first time you really started to care about light in your photography?
I think it's quite late. I mean, I must say, I think it's maybe like 2 years ago that I started to understand how light works and how important. Kind of expression that you want to give your photography. That it's a whole topic that you can take an hour to talk about just for the color.
Big time.
Given some expression of the film. I mean, have you seen some film of like like the Oscar winner? He's what's his name again?
Are you talking about a DP?
The DP, yeah.
We have Roger Deakins. Did he?
Yes, exactly. I mean, my head is just stop functioning. Roger Deakins, and I kind of admired his work because his work is based on natural lighting.
Yeah.
And I worked mostly documentary film, and most of the time I don't have the time to put on the lights. If I have time, that is like ooh. But mostly I have just just have to run and gun and
Yeah.
and shoot it. So naturally light, of course, that you have to kind of the lenses though have to be quite important, because if you don't get enough of light, then you will probably not get enough information. But of course, sometimes under exposure it's also expression. So it
Absolutely.
depends what is your expression you want to tell. So it could be. I mean, if it's in under the basement, like it's very little light.
Yep.
But that is the basement. It has some kind of how to say,
Like
the
atmosphere.
mood.
Yeah.
Atmosphere of the basement. So maybe sometimes it's not so bad at all. I mean, it's just
No, of course not.
dark. I mean, yeah. It's just an example.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you go into looking at a scene, lighting it with purpose and lighting it with the representation of the, as you said, the atmosphere or the mood, somewhat, the intention of lighting a scene. I actually think Roger Deakins, he comes from a journalistic background, from a documentary that I saw some time ago. And he was also talking about that he wants to replicate as best as possible what is true to the experience of the human eye. So not so much like so much double lighting, but he likes to work with single light sources. And working with replicating natural light as best as possible. So, for example, if you've got windows, your light source comes from the windows and not necessarily from some random spot in the corner of the room that has the same strength as the sun.
Yes.
So it is a very interesting topic, actually, lighting. Well, for me personally, right now, and also professionally, like using good quality light is absolutely amazing. But actually placing that light and shaping it and making it work to expose your image, it's amazing what can be achieved. Having said that, exactly what you said before about like having underexposure in a scene is not necessarily bad. I mean, you can just have, for example, a side of the face exposed in a dark, completely black frame, and that gives an impression of what you're trying to capture there, or what you're trying to show in your images.
Exactly.
And I guess, I think to kind of go on with what you were saying, I also came a little bit late in my career with focusing on light. When I was working in Germany, I realized I also started off with making music videos and some talking heads. And I realized that you can't rely on the sun always. And like house lights are just, they work in some circumstances, but majority of the time you can't light a scene with just the house lights. And I remember my first scary investment of I think it was 1,000 euros at the time, of just some small daylight balanced, okay quality LED Fresnels, made a world of difference to my pictures. It was day and night, essentially. So I believe it's really important to kind of focus on lighting when getting into filmmaking, and also if you're in filmmaking to make it a focus.
Exactly.
I mean, you and I have worked together on a project actually down in Kristiansand recently.
Yes.
Which was
thank you for the invitation.
No, that was fun.
Very fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, given the time in this corona craziness, crazy story that Liew and I had in this time down in Kristiansand, essentially working on a boat. I'm not going to just tell any details of the companies that we worked for, but essentially running around like crazy trying to get good angles and working with light, the sunlight especially. It's super important to kind of be flexible, but at the same time be somewhat planned of what you could try and plan of what you're going to shoot. For example, when we were trying to film in the restaurant scene, trying to figure out where the sun was to make the best kind of composition and shadows was, for me personally, as the DP in that situation, my head was on all 8 cylinders going boom, 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 trying to figure out what to do. And then also trying to work with the plan of like, oh, you have to film this and you have to film that. That was a challenge.
Yes, and also also very 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 fun. I feel that when you're working and I'm taking photography at the back of the scene and see how concentrate you are. I mean, when you are filming, it is so fascinating to see. I mean, I always find if people they are really into something, like when they are filming or doing sound or setting up a light, when they are really focusing. And I think that moment is the most beautiful of this person. Yes.
Because they're in that moment. That almost nothing exists around them, and there's a certain look on the face. I know that look all too well. I mean, I like you also probably know it too with working with musicians that musicians when they're playing and they really get in the moment there, it's it can be one of the most beautiful pictures of a person. I feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, also just to go on the topic with that, continue the topic with the lighting, and when we were on the ship down in Kristiansand, when we set up that scene to do the speech and setting it up around our subject of like, okay, well, how do we prepare that scene? How do we figure out what looks natural, even though in the circumstance it's totally posed? So, like, to break down the process there, it's kind of like just looking at the available light in the room and then to try and work with that as best as possible.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you brought those tiny little LED panels with you.
Yeah. I'm glad that they didn't die out, because I was kind of worried because the time of this little LED, the battery, normally they don't survive long. I mean, it's good to have them if you just need a moment, but I was kind of worried, but we survived the whole interview. So
I'm glad you didn't tell me that. Yeah. No, I mean, it was so good because looking in the scene in the background, I was like, we wanted to turn the lamps on, but the lamps had the wrong power connectors. They were just there for show or something, something ridiculous like that. And I was like, well, we need to have those lamps to give some depth to the room. So we took out the light bulbs and put those little LED panels in there and put them onto the warmest tungsten, I think it was 3200 or maybe warmer.
Yeah.
Just to give those practicals, as they say, show kind of thing.
Yeah, to give a little bit kind of, it was in his home, kind of the cozy and warm feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then and then it was like, okay, well, we still need to get a bit of character to make. So we popped up one of those LED panels that you had, and put that to tungsten, same value as the lamp, and gave him a bit of a rim light, which helped separate him from the background.
Exactly.
And then, of course, I think it was daylight balance from memory, the other LEDs, and then softened up with some, I think it was these 5-in-1 reflectors, these cheap ones, and just the cover pulled off, and you've got the opaque thing there, and that made the picture pop. I was pretty happy that we were able to achieve that picture in that time without him getting too impatient.
You were using the size, right? Or
from memory, I was using the Zeiss 50mm, the ZE.
I think that lens is I mean, I'm not. We are not paying by size. I mean, just want to say, just the size lens. I mean, the 50 1.4, the SEC E. I mean, on that series, the size classic series. I think the 50 is the most cheapest one,
Yeah.
but it is created so beautiful image.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you're not allowed to show the picture. I mean,
No,
it's
unfortunately.
just the pity. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, for legal reasons, I was not even allowed to have it in my portfolio, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We got paid at the
That's
end of the
okay.
day, and that's the job. I know, or we know at heart that we made that picture, and that's all that counts.
Maybe you can put some of your picture which took by that lenses just to show the people how it look like the
Absolutely.
depth of you and so, and when you can, like, cut in and just put in some image that just to show how beautiful this lens is.
And like I think I picked that lens up for like 3,000 kroner, so that's the equivalent to, maybe depending on where you're coming from, like what I mean, less than 250 euros or something like this. Incredibly cheap lens, and when stopped down to like 2.8, incredibly sharp all the way through.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we have a set of the ZE lenses.
Yes.
Yep. I was actually looking to try for that particular shoot to shoot on the 85mm, but we didn't have enough space. Well, we did, but the 50mm, in my opinion, then I made that decision and I was happy with it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
probably you get a little bit more the room feeling on the background, perhaps just to perhaps
Yeah. I mean,
on the 50. Yeah.
I think the 35 was just revealing a bit too much. And
Oh yeah, the 35 you're talking about. Okay.
no, the 35, if I was to choose that lens.
Too much. Yeah.
There was-
35 is probably too much. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think 50 was a great compromise in all circumstances there. Yeah. But that was a super fun shoot, and like again, like for people that haven't done like productions with other people, it's really addictive once you get started doing it. And as you were saying before, Liew, like it's so much fun to work with really engaged people who are passionate about their work. And you can live these moments with them when you get into the mode, into the zone, and you're creating. And like that job was particularly hectic, and we were staying up late at night and starting early in the morning and just go all day. I think unfortunately we forgot to eat at lunchtime. But yeah, that was fun. That was a good one. I look forward to the next ones after this Corona stuff lightens up.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm having a look at my little list here of what we're going to go through.
Yeah, sure.
I've got a question. How hard is it to work in the film industry in Norway? And for you, like, why did you choose Norway?
Why Norway? It's long story, but I can just short it down because I find my lover and then I move here.
Nice.
And that was since 2009, and
Wow.
it is 10 and a half years ago though.
Wow.
Now. And then I kind of need to start my whole life. So first I have to learn the Norwegian, of course,
Yeah.
and been to the school, and it was free. I appreciate that, and made a lot of friends in the school time. And then after that, I was thinking, what should I do? And I was just choose my bachelor, the music production. Yeah, and then after, I mean, already since I was study, I already work with film.
Yep.
And film, I always like to watch film, of course. I mean, I'm totally normal person that in the beginning I like this like Marvel superheroes Transformer, you know, super big blockbuster film.
Yeah.
But I started to understanding the story and about humanity, that about storytelling, that so I kind of go a little bit more into a human side. So I so I love a lot the drama now, like about human conflict, because I think that is very difficult to get a person how a person feel without telling a word in a picture.
Yeah.
I think probably it's easier in documentary to get that picture. I mean, to follow a person that if he or she is happy or sad. But in fiction, that you really need somebody who are really into his or her character.
Yeah.
To get it out. I recently saw The Handmaid's Tale. I know I'm very late. The season 2 from episode 10. Have you seen that series?
What was the name of the series again?
Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale.
No, I haven't.
Okay, maybe
spoiler alert. I'll block my ears.
Yeah. It was I can spoil one episode though.
Okay, go ahead.
The mother gets separated by the child because she because the politic in USA has changed definitely, that some mates have to be a born machine to just to born baby, you know.
Yeah.
And there was one scene that she meet her daughter, and then she have to go away, and she was, I mean, that scene I was like, she is really a talent
to bring that emotion across, to
yes,
to be convincing, I guess, to I mean, that says a lot about an actor playing through a character, that if they are able to bring out that emotion and maybe live it themselves, that can be, you know, such a goosebumps giving impact thing, you know, for the viewer.
Yeah. And she was so into she was so into it. It's like really her own child. I believe it's not her child, but I mean, to get that kind of picture and the feeling, like she's
in it.
Really good.
She's in it.
Very good. Yeah.
So actually, like talking about like films and stuff like this, you've produced some films, haven't you?
Yes.
Yep.
So far, I have produced 2 documentaries and 1 short fiction. I can roughly tell about
give us a
document.
Give us a little I guess snippet of what these films are about. Yes.
The documentary, the first one I ever made, it's called Trio. It's about 3 musicians, how they don't know each other. I know them. I know the pianist, I know the contrabassist and the drummer, but they don't know each other.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a joint person to connect them together and to make a record in the end. So the process of how they work it out, and I don't want to spoil it too much. It is a very difficult process because it's human conflict.
Yeah.
And
always an interesting one.
Yeah. So people have come and go. So that is how the process documentary, from they don't know each other from the beginning. The end is how they given an EP. maybe 20 minutes EP
Okay, cool.
music, jazz, traditional jazz music. And then that was my first project. I was very ambitious, and I was thinking I should make a feature one, you know.
Yeah. When did you start actually the filming on that one?
I already started in 2014 because
Wow, okay.
I know already my bachelor project. It's going to be, I'm going to record an album. So I'm thinking, why not if I going to record them and also documentary them.
Yeah, why
So I
not?
combine these is two things. So you can find on Spotify. It's under the school link. I can send you the link, but I can't remember in my head.
Yeah, I'll put it down in the description of this podcast.
Yeah.
No worries. And
Yes.
the other documentary is called Farewell Y Block. Yeah, what's
Yes.
what's that about?
That is a short documentary about a building here. It was a government
Oslo?
building in Oslo, yes. And it get bombed. The terrorist, the Norwegian, the Norwegian.
The mass murderer.
The mass murder Norwegian, and he bombed the building. But the building survived, and then the government finally decided to tear it down after 9 years now. And actually that building doesn't really harm very much. It's not really near, but the high building has get damaged, but beside that was not really. That's the Y block, and the high block and the Y block.
Okay.
The Y block wasn't really damaged that much, but the government decided because of the security issues that they have to tear it down.
Yeah.
And why is this become a big discussion? Because of this Y block has contained many artists' artwork on this building, and
on
also,
the building.
Yes, and Picasso is also one of the artists, though.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that is why people always react to it. We are very angry. Don't tear it down. We love this building because I live not far from that building. When this get bombed, I was inside the old library, the old Dijkman. It's like maybe 100 meters away because the
Wow.
building is very thick. It's very 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 thick
Yeah.
walls. Old building that we get protected by that building.
Okay.
But we thought there was
Lucky.
a vibration of earthquake, Then
Wow,
we
okay.
didn't know was really happening, and we were trying to get out from the Dijkman, the main entrance of the library,
Whoa.
and everything is falling from the entrance, and it's like a lot of haze or dust whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then we can't get out from the main entrance. We have to go to the side, and we don't know really what's happening. And
Stressful.
I was like, when we are done with the library, I was walk a little bit down there, and then we see all the window was blowing up. The high block was like, and I was see, oh goodness, this must be a gas explosion.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, in my mind, in the beginning, I was like thinking, I haven't
Someone
think
left the
about
gas
that.
on.
This is, yeah, and then, after that, of course, the tragedy, the shooting on
Yeah.
on the we don't go for that for
No,
now.
no.
I think it is very
That's in the history books.
personal.
That one.
Yeah. And that is why I documentary the Y block. It's not really not the main reason that I think because of this terrorist thing, because when the discussion started and people was very angry, the government want to tear it down. So they have many gathering around the building that try to protect the building, and they have many gather in many years along the years. So I was curious in the beginning, and I was there, and then they were trying to holding hand by hand. It was before the corona though, so we were holding hand by hand, and I was like, because I've been there alone myself only, and then I don't know the people who surround me, and then I was like holding a hand that people that I don't know myself, and then when some people is starting to shout in Norwegian though, la yu stå, this means let the Y block stay.
Yeah.
And then people scream, and then in the beginning I was very kind of shy to shout out, but slowly when you get into it, when you really shout it out, let the Y block stay, and I was emotionally touched, and how this is so wonderful with so many people together, and to just have very simple to protect the building.
Yeah.
And that's why I have to film it before it's tearing down. And now it's gone. The building is tearing down now, unfortunately. So that is about the U-blocker. It's just a visual showing how it's look like. It's no voiceover, nothing. It's just
moments,
just to see how the building is.
And what did you what was the process there of filming it? You just filmed moments of people protesting or demonstrating, and then just inside the building or around the building?
I didn't get the chance to get inside because it was everything before it was locked, because it's also it's kind of it's not unstable, but they are starting to tear things now, so it's not allow people going inside anymore. So I didn't get a chance to film inside, but what I filmed is just simply outside how the block look like. As a normal day, in a sunny day, how the block look like, and simply as it, and just playing a little bit with the composition, with wide angle lens and with
using those ice lenses again.
I can't remember I used this size.
No, it's okay.
I can't remember.
All good. I was being silly. And then your next one, A Visitor. This is a drama or fiction piece.
Yes, A Visitor. It's about suicide. I myself, it's very obsessed about suicide, because I think as a human being, I believe, this is my belief, which is mentioned by one of very good of my friends. She said, and I'm very agree with it. Somehow in your life, you have maybe one short period that you think, what is the point of living? And this is worth of living, or you have a moment, just a short moment, that you wish you were not born, or you wish to die. I mean, on a very short moment. Unfortunately, many people suicide. It's because the short, they can't tolerate themselves, that they went suicide, unfortunately. So I have been always very fascinated by this topic.
It is pretty interesting. I mean, it seems to be quite a relevant topic today. Now in our Corona time, a lot of people are having a lot of free time, or I can't say free time, but time alone in their houses and whatever. Of course, you had prepared the script and everything, this production before the Corona, so it has nothing to do with the Corona situation. So what's the I guess the plot of the film?
The plot, it's just to tell. It's a message that even though you are now in a very bad situation, or it seems there is no hope at all now, but if you really think, or if you think deep enough, the main message is just to tell, precious your life, because I don't believe in God, so I just respect a single life that could contribute to the earth anyhow, anyway.
Yep.
So if you decide something that you have to kill yourself, have you think about those people who around you, who loves you, who, if you just go away, how would they feel? I mean, just think about it.
I mean, it's a big impact.
I think
it's
yeah.
I mean, have you experienced suicide in your family before?
No, luckily,
or friends? No. Okay.
No.
I mean, I have my uncle actually committed suicide, and I've also had a couple of friends in Australia who committed suicide, and it's a very, very like confusing time, I guess. The thinking of suicide, it's incredibly that there's so many things to kind of go through, and there's many questions left unanswered, I feel. If someone is to commit suicide who is close in your family, so it's something that I understand as well.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's okay.
Patrick.
That's how it goes in life sometimes. But A Visitor, I haven't actually seen that one yet. But I'd be interested in actually checking it out and seeing the film. Again, I'll put the link respectively in the podcast description. The story is about a young woman. Is this right?
Okay. The protagonist is a businessman that he's trying to kill himself in a hotel room.
Yep.
But saved by a prostitution.
Okay.
A lady prostitution. Now I'm spoiling it now, but but the message is just to tell. Is this maybe just one incident? But try to think another angle. Other people, they have been survived even worse than you. Why should you think now you are the worst in this world? I mean, try to see another angle.
Yeah.
Look at the people who don't have a home. They even want to find the next dollar krona to get the next meal. I mean, they haven't given up, and I believe that is because they still believe when you alive you can experience happiness and more than that. Sometimes it's far than word can tell emotionally, that a person can feel. So it's just the contradiction that this rich man, how he can't see outside. I mean, he just focused so much on, oh, I'm lost everything now. I'm losing everything. But actually, he's not. It's just the money. I mean, or
money isn't everything.
Yeah. I mean, to his perspective, money is everything. But and also he also understand. He also wanted kind of human touch, or that some people trying to understand this person, understand him, and she started to felt close to her in the end of this film. But I don't want to tell you the whole thing.
No, we'll leave that. What I'll do right now is I'll say that we'll take a little bit of a break and maybe put a teaser on of a visitor, and maybe also a snippet of the farewell block.
Yes.
So we'll be back after the viewing of this teaser of a visitor by yourself, Liew. So we'll take the break now.
Hi.
Hi.
Can I come in?
Kids, I didn't see racism. I saw color. I saw through that. Some of the kids saw me as one of the kids. Others were like, "Oh man, he's light skinned. His mother's white. He's not one of us. And let's pick on him," you know.
Kjenner du noen kontrabassist?
Jeg kjenner en kontrabassist, ja. Men jeg kan ikke hjelpe deg.
Og det er sikkert fett å leve på 50-tallet og gå i kule klær, men så får du en kreftform som vi ikke har medisiner for, og da skulle jeg ønske du levde nå. Så heller i fremtiden, tror jeg.
How is rehearsal?
It's going further and further into the music. Should we just play? Like 10 minutes on the chords?
Yeah, cool.
Just improvise random.
You're Jamie Ingersoll. 1, 2, ready, play.
Så man har lyst til å leve som musiker i dag for å kunne betale husleia, bil, transport, promo, platekontrakt for å kunne få dekka studioutgifter, deltidsjobb for å få råd til alt dette her. Det er vanskelig når man ikke er etablert.
We come from different points, like in the music, but feels like we have a lot of common, just humanly.
So, back from our break, Liew. Welcome back, man. Yeah, let's get into a little bit more about your content, what you've created. Back in 2019, that was our first collaboration. You asked me to come and bring my box of a camera to a little town up in Norway. It's pronounced Yilo or Yalo.
Yalo, yes,
yep.
Yalo. It's a lovely town in Norway. It's a mountain area that people normally go to ski in the winter time. But it's also the Norwegian gay rights pioneer. She also lived there.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Kim.
Kim
Yes.
Fille.
Lovely person. Absolutely. Beautiful individual.
And thanks for joining me. If we even have that how to say co-work or collaborative work together.
Yeah.
I don't think we have this conversation now. So thank you, Patrick.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Also, yeah, the documentary I'm making. It's about her private life. Now she's a 85 years old lady, and unfortunately her partner left us already in 2016 in September. So I basically think that it's very important to documentary them. But when I started the documentary, it's already Wenche is her partner. That she already quite how to say weak in that time. So unfortunately I don't have a lot of material about Wenche. She's a very kind person, even though she didn't know me. I mean, when she laying on the bed and we talk and holding the hand, it was like she's, even though she didn't know me, I just feel this person, it's so much kindness.
And
this, yeah.
What was so you said that they were activists for the gay rights?
Yes, Kim was the gay rights, and she started already in the 70s. I mean, she already
here in Norway.
Here in Norway, yes.
Yeah.
She had married with a man, and that she found out that it's something wrong. She doesn't like, that.
She has other preferences. She has other preferences. Yeah.
that she doesn't know because back in that time it's I mean people, they don't talk about sex at all.
No.
They don't have sex education in the school. So she just doesn't like the night that night happened. She simply against it, and she won a divorce. So it took like a year for her to divorce. And then after that, she has heard about homosexual and what is homosexual, and she was kind of curious about it. And then she tried to find out, because in Norway they has a secret club, so that people, you have to know somebody or two of them before you can get into the club.
Wow.
So she was
a tea party.
and she and she kind of curious about this club, this secret club, and then she get into it finally, and then and she decided to fight for the people, fight, because back in that time mostly men are or not discriminated. It's a criminal. It's not discriminated by that time. You can get caught by the police if you
if you're conducting homosexual behavior or
back in that time. Yeah.
Wow.
So she basically
so different to today.
She fight for men. I mean, she's a lady, because and that time why she's because when two ladies they comes together, in that time they don't think they can do anything with it. So it's very very
an interesting
pure
perspective, no?
Yeah, very pure. Their mind it's very simple. So.
Which is debatable, I guess.
Yeah, and then
that's the topic on the documentary. Like this is only one section of a greater part of the documentary that you're creating here. Yeah. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm going to documentary what she has been done for the human right here in Norway, and her private life, what she doing now, and now she's 85 years old. Perhaps it's very limited what she can do, but she's still very active person. She's giving speech to younger people for their confirmation. Do you know Norwegian when they are filling up 15 or 16? I'm not sure that the confirmation that she will always tell the youngster that have sex before you married yourself. I found it is a very yes, it's very laughable, or but by that time when she doesn't have that education, so I think it's very important that she talk about sexuality and knowing yourself and try it out.
Try before you sell yourself.
So I look upon she's kind of my grandmother, and so I think everybody here in Norway will homosexual look upon that Kim as a grandmother too. I also have kind of experienced some people that they envy him. It's very hard to understand why is that, because she's so famous, and she some of them they think that she take the how to say the honor of the fighting for the rights for only herself, and I find it is very I can't understand this kind of people. Yeah, we don't go to that. Sorry, maybe you should cut it out. It's not good to talk bad about people.
No. Okay, well, let we cut back in and say the documentary overall is based, or is the topic is about the rights of homosexuality, and also like the recognition of it, not just in Norway but also internationally. Because I understand Kim, like in the short time that we were there, she was very active politically, but that didn't just stay here in Norway. From memory, she was also in the UK and also in the US of A.
Yes. Yes, she has been rejected by the U.S. government when back in the also late 70s because of her sexuality. That the government denied her entrance, but that they removed in the 80s. The U.S. government welcomed you're welcome to come to USA and say sorry that
that
what
happened.
they did.
Yeah.
What that happened.
Yeah. So, how long have you been working on this documentary? When did you get started?
I started in 2016. As I said, I already heard. I sing in a choir that Kim already arranged the funeral for Wenche. So I was kind of thinking, because there's no, I just, my intuition just tell me you should film them, you should documentary them before they gone.
Yeah.
That is why and then I call my partner Core, because they worked together before, so they get the contact with Kim. So they get in the telephone call. Then Kim, she said, if you want to film, I think you should come as soon as possible you can, because Wenche, she's quite bad, or you have to come, if you want to film, come as soon as you can.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm very, very glad that
that you got the chance to do that.
Yeah. The first trip, and then it was also the last trip with Wenche.
Okay.
Yeah.
So quite a monumental
That's
piece to capture, really. A documentation, I guess, of her last days, which is quite a touching subject, really.
Yeah, sometimes when I watch it myself again, I mean, human, you only live once, so if your life, I mean, this is a very self-reflecting now. If you don't do what you like now, when should you do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So you should do it now.
Yes. If you something think about, you want to do it, I will suggest, if your public watching it now, do it. Don't wait, because you don't know what happened tomorrow. You know.
Exactly. So I guess this kind of goes on, like a little bit of a message for people wanting to get into the filmmaking business or documentation or whatever it is around this field. What would in your own words, be a message to a new person wanting to come into the industry or who have just started? Why make films?
I believe why individuals started making film probably have their own reason. Some people is earning money. Some people find it's very interesting hobby, or you have many reasons by making film. But the end of the day, that, I mean, especially now, video production or film production has been like, how to say, it's not proportionally, but how to say this graph, which is expressionally, or
so it's like
exponentially.
Yeah, like you're going across the board from professionals right to the amateur. Like the access, is that right? The access of video camera equipment is everywhere.
Yes, it's also, that is one of the reasons to cause, because everybody can own a camera nowadays, and it's fun. It's you learn a lot, and then you getting know a lot of people when you're making films.
Yep. I agree.
But if you want to make film for your main career, I think it's very hard, and it's nearly like you have to fight very hard for it, you know.
Big time.
But also I also see that even though it's many people want to work in the film industry, and you have people who just making film because they want to how to say I get selected by a Cannes Film Festival, or I get screen on, that is very good, but also making film, it's not about winning things. That is the people, it's a lot of people thinking as I want to make a film and want a prize, to win a prize as a gesture, and I think that is already
a bit of a
wrong
fail
start,
way.
a wrong starting point for your career. It's I think
it's
you
a bit
have
superficial,
to know,
right?
yes, I think when you start to make film, that's what is important. I won't say that was wrong. I mean, to win the prize is also, it's a goal. I mean,
It's a competition,
okay.
yeah.
But for me, to make film, it's that you have a message that you think you want to tell the world, or you tell somebody that you have a message to your public. I think that it's very important to have a message.
Absolutely.
Why you are making this film? You have a purpose to tell your public.
I think this is where, actually, it's interesting you say that. I think that's where, like, a lot of people get started with music videos, because with not all music, but a lot of music, they have a message that they want to get across, and it's a good way of trying to build visually a video that coincides with the text of a song, or works creatively with the song or an artist, whether you're documenting the musician or musicians, or whether you're creating a drama piece that is playing out what's happening in the text. I don't know, like I got into the music industry a lot longer ago, and I found that the documentation was a big interest of mine. So I think that the journey that one takes when getting into filmmaking it can be an extremely frustrating but extremely fun at the same time, when going, okay, I'm trying to find out what I want to do, where I want to go, what do I want to create, what kind of message do I want to get across in my work. I find a lot of times, actually, that can be a very difficult and a long process to get to a certain point. In going, okay, I'm a new filmmaker, I've got a camera, what am I going to do with it? I feel like there's so much more involved around that process of just getting started. I mean, one, you're starting to get into the world of technology, and then art, and everything is all mixed. I find this is what's fascinating for me personally, and also professionally, that you're mixing so many different things and working with so many different people to try and make a videographic result. And there's no real answer to what that product is going to be at the end of the day, and that kind of curiosity is really fascinating. That wouldn't you agree that it's not just about having the camera and pointing it at someone's face? There's a whole lot more around that process.
Yes, I totally agree. And also, we individual, how we perceive the message, it could be different also sometimes when you perceive the message, or maybe I perceive like, okay, this film is going to tell me something A, B, and C.
Yep.
But to you, maybe no, I feel that the film is like E, F, and G.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how to say, subjective perception perception of
Yep.
Of the film. It's also important.
Yeah, big time.
Because and also I find out sometimes they said how to vote your film, how many stars. I think, how to say, it could be indicator for how the film is, but I think it's kind of wrong to give some point of what you feel about the film. You could be very subjective.
Absolutely.
That I didn't mean to offend any film critic here, but I mean, how a film should is good or bad. I think when you give a point to something,
It's subjective.
It's a very subjective thing. You can analyze why you think it is so good or why it is so bad.
Yeah.
It's just the indication. I kind of against that to give point to movies. Yeah.
So, again, like, for someone who's wanting to get into the film industry or pushing forward, what are the things that keeps you in that industry? Why are you still here? Why are you still creating stuff? Is it the
Why I'm
journey?
still
Is it
good.
the connections? Is it just because you've been doing it for so long now that you can't be bothered changing over to, I don't know, politics or something?
Well, I think also a reason. To be honest, I have now started also the rental company for renting film equipment, cameras, lights, and stuff. But I still very interested, as you say, in photography. And I mean, the audio I still have there, but I also developed another curiosity that like making documentary that fascinates me. I'm curious about this person or this subject.
Yep.
I also making a documentary now, a short one about. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it because I've just get started.
Yeah.
well, okay. I can tell a little bit about. It's
Yeah, okay.
about a person that delivery food to your home. That he get the food in a shop and then deliver it to your house. And how is this process? And also, this private person doing this bicycling food delivery.
This is the pink coats, isn't it? That you see around Oslo and Trondheim.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, okay,
yes.
cool. I won't name the name of the company, but we know it's pink.
Yeah.
So we
But
can see
also
them.
they have also another one which is a kind of a cyan color, cyan
Okay.
blue. But this is not very big, but that's still also. I mean, it is good to have competitors though.
Oh, yeah. And it's good to have someone deliver your food. That's great.
Yeah, that's. I mean, especially in this pandemic time. I mean, go to a restaurant. It's kind of.
It's not what you do
kind of
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So the documentary's handling on the the day in the life of this food delivery person.
Yes.
Magic. Cool.
I just started it. I just started last Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Super fresh.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious about this person. How much he's going to earn a day, and I mean to get a public perspective that's about the system, and then also the thing the public don't care about, that you would just want your food, but I mean as a messenger, I mean the food, the person who delivery the food called a messenger.
Yep.
So how he should like deliver it in time, and if somehow if let's say his bicycle gets stolen. For example, this could happen. This is a real world. I mean, so
let's hope it doesn't for this guy's case.
Yeah, this is just I just want to kind of see to let the public, the audience know how the system works, and how the public or the audience doesn't know about how these people work behind this system. Yeah.
So you would say that your curiosity keeps you active in the filmmaking or creation of documentaries or videos. Yeah. Yeah, I like to bridge off a little bit about curiosity and the filmmaking stuff. I like to get nerdy sometimes about gear. Because gear is a big part of the filmmaking process. You have to know about gear and how gear works to actually create something good. Well, that's debatable, but there is a separation between amateur and professional, and that also, requires that you have a bit of knowledge. Now, you're an audio guy. In our world, audio is one of the biggest components of filmmaking. Could you explain a bit why audio is so important in the process of filmmaking?
Yes, sure. I just want to say in filmmaking, I mean, in the amateur perspective, nearly 90%, or maybe higher, they don't care about audio.
Oh, that's so irritating,
isn't it? That's true.
That's true. Yeah. It's because no one's told them that they should care about audio, right?
Yes. And when you come to the cutting room, then you realize that your audio is not functional. If sounds terrible, like the wind is blowing, and and or perhaps you forget to push record, so you don't have the audio. I'm trying to talk to the camera now without mimic without saying anything. That's how how important it's audio. It's if you can now try to, when you cut in the post, try to mute out when I'm talking now, trying to mute out 15 seconds without hearing what I'm saying. Just try to give a perspective how important is audio.
Or just blow into the microphone
yeah. Or the how to say, your clothes is not the friction about from the mic and your clothes. That is also a problem.
Or the best one, and we've all been there, is when you have your DSLR and you rely on the onboard microphone.
Yes, on the camera, yeah.
And all you hear is the sound of the fan.
yeah, exactly. So
audio is important, kids. Learn how to do audio.
Yes. It is, if you can separate 50-50. If you buy a camera, you can if you can invest in a camera for, let's say, $10,000,
That's a big
why
camera.
can't, yeah, as a big camera, why can't you spend like, I mean,
$100 on a
5,000?
microphone.
Yeah, I mean, it's some. Sorry to say that if you feel that I'm talking, it's you. So I didn't mean that, but try to think about if you only focusing on the picture. That is no wrong about it, but
No.
don't put away the other things like the audio, for example. Is
Yeah.
I mean, AV, A and V audio, as A as a first letter, A V.
Audio.
You know,
Yeah.
so this
Video.
audio always come first than the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people can always do in a post. I mean, if you have a lot of budget like Hollywood, then
That's
you
a
can
different
do it.
story. That's a completely different
That-
story. We're
Yeah,
talking
you can
about
do it in the post. Yeah.
we're talking about the real people who have like budgets from. No, okay, well everyone is real, but we're kind of going. Okay, here's a new filmmaker in the industry. Like, hang on, how important is audio? Audio is super important. I call myself like a director of photography, but I've gotten into the topic of, focusing on audio and making sure that I know the ground basics to get me over the line to get a decent audio capture. And I can't stress this enough. Like, if you have crappy audio, your picture looks crap. So I mean,
Yeah, no matter how professional your picture look like, if your audio is crap, that you give the impression that you are crap. I mean it.
yeah, totally. I mean, I'm holding up a small shotgun microphone here. They don't cost that much money. A lot cheaper than a lens. A lot cheaper than a camera. Invest in that, and you'll be all right. And learn how to use it, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
my gosh, it's a deal breaker in most cases. Bad audio, no deal, no payment, go home sad.
Yeah.
So that having said,
So,
Liew,
yeah.
what is something that you always bring with you on set?
I always bring on set if I am audio guy, then I will always bring I can try to find it. It's a kind of medical tape. Let me show you just a second.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Speaking
away
of
from
tape.
the camera now. Just a second. There you go. This is a tape that you could mount the lavalier into a person that has a dialogue. It's just a medical tape. It's not plastic. It's simply
It's
cotton.
paper. Oh, it's cotton, right? Yeah.
So you can just tape it on the person. That I find it. It's a lot of out there. You can have this bumblebees or kind of fluffy things that you can reduce the friction from your clothes to your lavalier mic. I find it the easiest ways is just to have this, because this is so simple when you mount it, and of course you have to find a right place though. Yeah. So this I have to always bring. Of course I have to bring my recorder, batteries, extra batteries.
Yeah. Extra batteries always.
Extra batteries always.
Or the wall plug. Don't forget the wall plug.
Yeah.
What do you feel about gaffer's tape? I always find that if I don't bring gaffer's tape, I feel very insecure on a production.
Yes, I always, even though I'm a sound guy, I always also have a gaffer tape, like the small one, or you have the big one, then the
To save
standard
people
one.
like me.
When I'm as a camera assistant, then I always fit the color to just to separate, like if the memory card is as transferred or not, just to separate the memory card or marking something.
Yeah.
It's always very handy with the tapes. Yeah.
I mean, your support gear is like going to save you. I mean, if you forget your tripod, you can gaffer tape the camera to something.
Yeah.
Or the audio, you can gaffer tape the microphone to a broomstick or something like this. And if you forget your boom pole or something, there are some amazing ways you can get by just having gaffer's tape if you forget something. I find that has saved me on so many productions.
Yeah, yes, there's always like the light is you have suddenly need to mount a light on somewhere there or there, so
it's exciting.
Gaffer, yeah. you always need gaffer tapes. Yeah.
So you bring on set with you all the time, if you're the audio guy, this little medical tape.
It depends people.
I guess
some
if you're
people,
booming the mic.
They don't use. Yes, when I boom, then of course, then as it's like. Now I don't have a boom in here, but just here on the side here, just H6, the Zoom one. I think the audio is good enough. And my room is very quiet. So know always the environment before you go to record, because if a constant sound, that's okay, but if the sound is not constant, like suddenly some sound suddenly is totally quiet, then your audience will recognize it. So be aware when you're choosing location that if it's a lot of transport passing around or cars is passing around,
that's killer for audio
guys.
Here comes the bus.
So be always aware the sound, but sometimes you don't have the choice.
No.
That you just have to shoot. Then you just have to do the best you can.
Big time.
Yeah. So if you have time to fix or try to mute or stop the car, or if you can do that, is perfect. But sometimes you don't have the chance. You just have to like, please
run and
God
gun.
help. Yeah, run and gun. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to quickly touch on the subject of collaborations. This one kind of pulls the strings of many creators, including myself and probably yourself too. I, in my career, have done my fair share of pro bono or non-paid work. But also I've been fortunate enough to make a substantial living from what I create, which is great. So I want to ask you, when is it okay to take a pro bono job or like a free collaboration opposed to taking a cash job? How would you differentiate between that?
If you are amateur, if you haven't had any network before and you wish to try out is this filmmaking could be your career or not, I will suggest that try to read the manuscript and see the story that touched you always, and or if this is not a fiction, then what is the documentary or what is the film about, and then find a project that you like and start to make contact with those people. And it's nothing wrong said I want to help out, but I don't have the knowledge. It's always when you go to the stage, when you go to a location when they are starting shoot, always learn. If you have a chance, stand beside the DOP or cameraman. If things you don't know, always ask the reason, and always.
You probably won't
helpful.
always get an answer, depending on how busy
probably
someone is.
Perhaps if he is very 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 busy, but one thing it's I have been also work for free in the beginning of my career.
Me too.
And of course, it has, if you work, let's say more than 5 projects, then you can already tell which people you in the future you will continue to work with, or you will say no to next time. So I think to make a good film is one thing in a film production, and also it's very important that people don't think about it's how your network working together, how the chemistry work together, how people taking off each other. It's nearly more than important than making this film now. But because of course many people thinking, because I want to make this film as good as possible, and then they are trying to pushing people very hard, work 17 hours a day, and then people don't get the lunch, they don't get the dinner, and
I need that sandwich, man.
I think if a production that you work like this, I will suggest you quit now. Yes, quit now and
you need to be
find
looked
another
after.
Yes,
bottom line,
find another production. Yes.
And also, like, when talking about payment, of course, sort of going on there, it's like you can't work for free forever. So you have to draw the line of like when you start demanding payment. And I guess that kind of goes over of experience and knowledge in the industry. So say, for example, you've produced a lot of content, you know what you're talking about, you know how to handle audio or camera or lights or whatever, then therefore people will start to ask you to work for them. I mean, at least that's how it went with my experience. And every now and then it's fine to do pro bono work. I help friends out with videos and audio stuff all the time. Well, not all the time, but occasionally someone will go, "Hey, Pat, I haven't got any cash, but maybe I can give you some music for one of your videos." We do like, trade for trade kind of thing. I guess it's kind of like, okay, how do you weigh that up? I've got a small family, so I have to somehow find some cash to pay for rent and food and all that kind of business. So I need to know when my next cash check is going to come in. So that's a bit difficult, of course, now with the Corona times, but that's another topic altogether. But for me, as a professional, and you probably agree with me that it's that if a job comes in and somebody's asking you to do a job for them, then it's okay to ask for money. But if it's a friend or like a passion project or something like this, you have to weigh up, like, is it worth my time? Is it worth my effort to do this? And also, unfortunately, but everyone will experience this in their lifetime, that sometimes you'll get a small job for like, I don't know, $500 or 5,000 kroner. And it'll be the longest, most painful job you will ever get, because, the promises are way too high or whatever. And, the smaller paid jobs are like a little bit more stressful than the higher paid jobs. I found with the higher paid jobs, you just send your invoice and thank you very much for doing the job. So I guess the bottom line is, do I accept no payment, or is it okay? I guess the question kind of extends to you, Liew. Like, your experiences are not exactly the same as mine, but you also feel the same way. Like, okay, it's okay to do occasionally the free job, or like friends collaborative stuff, or a very easy music video, like a documentation per se. When is it okay for you? When it's at the bottom line? What determines the choice or decision for you to say, no, I'm not going to do this because, or yes, I need to have money for this because? How do you go about deciding when to take money and when not to take money?
For me, as always, I will be interested first of the message of the film, and also the second, the people that you work, will it benefit in future for yourself? I mean, even though you are working free now, but maybe in future some people you work together now, that maybe if they need a B photo or a full a focus puller for another next film, then people could suggest you. So you also always feel just don't give. I mean, when you're in a production, give all you can, but also feel that the team, how they take care of you, because you can see it. You can feel it. Like, do you want water? This is small things. That's, do you want a coffee?
Do you want a pizza?
Or or some things that people can help you. Like they see you. So
that you feel like you've been looked after. That someone cares about you. Yeah.
Yes, because I think that is the only way to grow in the long term. We are not talking about one film. I mean, so we are talking about a lifetime thing. So so it's very important that we have somebody to taking care of each other. It's not just make one film and then kick you off and bye bye.
It depends how crap you were, or if you were an asshole to someone, then I can understand, people going, oh, I don't want to work with him again. I mean, it's kind of like, in the film industry, it is a little bit like that. It is somewhat about who you know, but also like how you are as a person. Like if you're a hard worker and you really care about it and you're conscientious of other people on set and making sure that you're not stepping on someone's toes, hypothetically speaking, and at the end of the day that you can sit down with these people and go, let's have a pizza and a beer together. I find that it's a cultural thing, that when you create something together, it really has an impact on a person, regardless whether it's filmmaking or working in a restaurant or skateboarding, whatever. It's the moments that you share with people have the biggest impact. And I guess, if you're budding out there and you want to get a job in the film industry, I don't know, being a DIT or a focus puller or even a cameraman or a director, it's really dependent on who you are as a person,
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. And how to say how powerful you are. I mean, people will perhaps behave or kind of giving you some respect, but also that is why I saying if you're working something like camera assistant or something, production assistant, that because that on that position that you can see really how this person are, or how the team are, because you are kind of in the lowest in the system, that you see how the things is working out.
There is a hierarchy, you've got everyone is important. Like the machine has to work together. If you're to put everybody in the thing, like the actors have to work with the director, who has to work with the cameraman, who has to work with the whole crew. It's an incredibly interesting and complicated process if you're to get into higher end production stuff. I mean, it doesn't even have to be higher end production. I think, respect across the board, you got to say, hey mate, and how you going you don't have to say it to everyone, but it's nice that you have a good friendly connection. But also saying, say for example, you're working on a big blockbuster or you're in a different league of filmmaking, you understand that maybe the DOP or the director doesn't have time to talk with you. And you're kind of, say for example, you're starting out as a runner or like a gaffer's assistant or something like this. You're really under a hierarchy system. So you've got like the best boy or like the head gaffer who is your boss. You kind of talk to him, and then he talks to the director or the assistant director or whatever. And it's an incredibly interesting process. Like if you're working on smaller projects, you can get very personal and intimate. Like say for example, you and me going up and doing the documentary stuff. It was just you and me as the crew.
Yes. And also, I one thing I want to mention is when I know the production is, it's great to have a lot of people on set and you have a lot of people, gaffer to or sound. You have even four, five boom operators. That's a luxury. Also great. I mean also that's also I personally, so to say, I like a little bit like a smaller team.
Yeah.
That you have communication, that you're understanding directly. I mean, you can talk directly to the director or the DOP. That is this okay? I mean, not through so many people before your message getting washed out. So
that's why having an assistant director and a very good one is important if you're on a big production. But
yes, that's also very true.
You're saying like I also work on very like small to medium budget film work. So like, of course, crew is not always what I have at disposable income, so to speak. Like again, going back to our experience down in Kristiansand, it was literally you and me trying to like juggle all these things. So us working in a dynamic together and both of us having experience. So we kind of, we understand what we're talking about. Like, I need more light here, or
when you lift a finger, then I know. Okay, I go fix the light there.
Yeah,
for example.
Exactly.
So that's kind of a little thing. It's very important.
Big time.
Like it's kind of like playing music, when I need the extra verse to do a solo, it's kind of to understanding the eye contact and to understanding it's very important. I feel it. Yeah.
I mean, and it's such a fun process. In the creative process, it's fun. Going back to your point that you said earlier on, that it's fascinating to look at people when they're so concentrated and focused. Imagine being in a whole team of that, of like, I know 5 or 6 people creating something there. And then, like, I know, putting a time-lapse camera in the corner of the room and forgetting about it, and having a look at that time-lapse later, going, whoa, we were just so focused in the moment, and everybody looked like a unit,
Exactly.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
So how do you pay the bills at the end of the day? Like, what's your game? How do you make that decision?
Well, I think people... Eventually, if you can't make a living on film, then you have to kind of find another thing to do to make your living.
So you rent gear out as well, don't you?
Okay, I personally started by I make documentary film in the beginning. Then I was thinking to rent out my gears, and slowly I didn't kind of naive to start but after so many years things has been destroyed also but I mean the thing is also you getting know people when you renting out that
Yeah.
get to know people that okay, this production, this company is also this company is for advertisement or
Yeah.
whatsoever. So I personally think it's the benefit for me is actually knowing the people that they rent the gear, that I have contact with them.
Big time.
Yeah.
Not just a random person coming in from X country on holiday and saying, "Hey, I want to borrow your red camera," for example.
Yeah, that's also I heard some in the industry that they get cheated just to rent their camera out for by losing like 250,000 kroner, Norwegian kroner. It's like $25,000
US dollars. Yeah.
Get stolen or get cheated away.
It hurts. Oh, God!
So
When I hear
it's
that,
very
like,
tough.
it's very tough. And like when you've got it geared, you've invested, and you say, okay, I can rent it out. Like sometimes the insurance company looks at you and goes, "Why have you got an expensive camera?"
Yeah, exactly. As I now, I'm filming with my GH5. So also, let's talk about a little bit how do you need expensive gear to make a film?
No.
That is no, exactly, because there's many people think about I need to have $100,000 dollar camera to make a super film, you know.
In 1995, maybe.
Yeah. So that is not the most important issue. I mean, to make the content itself is and then also the content and the picture and it's everything actually. It's not
And
just
the audio. Don't forget the audio, Liew.
Yeah, the audio, the picture, and then how the people, the direction, and also maybe the actor, actress, and also composition, the lights, and the cutting in the end, and the color grading, everything. It's one. I mean, you can't separate them. In the end of the day, you have to. Don't just focusing on buying one expensive thing and then you don't have.
It has to be relative, right?
Yeah,
You have to go, okay, well, I got myself a Blackmagic Pocket cinema camera, you know. Like if your budget is that, you know, let's not talk about the 4K, even though that's super cheap, really, in the relative specs of cameras. But if you were like, okay, well, I got like 2,000 euros to spend.
Yeah.
You know, I like me personally, I would probably go, I'm gonna go get a camera and a lens for like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
$500 on a good microphone, and then another $500 on a tripod, or like 250 for a tripod. Oh, hang on, this one's difficult. I would I probably like 750 on the camera and the lens. I can make do with a cheap lens, or even secondhand stuff is super cheap. Get myself an okay tripod, so $500. A good microphone. I don't think a good microphone is going to cost more than $500. Like if you get a shotgun mic, probably cost you $200 or something like this.
Yeah, maybe like one third on the audio and 2/3 on the camera, or maybe 1/3 audio, 1/3 on the lights, and 1/3 on the camera and the accessory, batteries, cards.
Memory cards, of course.
And also perhaps you might need extra monitor if you needed it.
You're blowing the budget now, Liew. Budgets are going way over.
So maybe like 1/3, 1/3 then. Could be the audio could be a little bit less. I mean, you don't need the
best mic in the
super
world.
ultra high end thing like the Lexotronic or VCCom.
Oh no, hell no. I'm working on the Australian microphones, the Rode. That they've been solid microphones in my production. I think I picked one of them up for like 1,000 kroner, which is like $100.
Yeah.
And a decent cable. I'd always say like your accessories or your plugins are pretty important. A balanced cable, which I have learnt when doing live productions, are super important to keeping noise and like buzzing down when you're recording audio. Oh my God. Anyway, that's an experience.
So things you learn it when you're doing it.
Oh yeah.
So it's not when you first start your production, then you knowing all, and then you I mean, it's a learning process, even though So
Big
it's
time.
a long journey. It's I mean, from the film. I mean, you know, the analog film to today with the digital images. So I mean, people have been old photographers. I mean, from the let's say from the 70s, they learn. I mean, from the negatives to today to I mean digitally how the image process. So it's a long process of learning.
I mean, I'm still learning every day. I'm probably reading stuff on forums or news channels, you know, just kind of understanding what the gear does, and experimenting when I can afford it. Like what the most important things are, or like how just stepping it up, like purchasing the next best thing. And it doesn't have to be such an expensive purchase, but how different the quality is of your footage or your audio can change. I mean, like I said, this $100 microphone from Rode, it's not just the microphone. I'm running it on a boom pole, which is on a light stand, which has got a knuckle, and it's running a cable all the way down to a little audio box, which I like a field mixer, and then going into my camera. I mean, all of those things are not totally necessary if you're doing something like this, but it's something that I've gotten used to now when doing productions, that I just do it automatically. Like, I've got this gear, I might as well use it, rather than just having a shotgun microphone on a camera. But that comes through experience, really. Like, it's taken me a long time to get here, and I guess you're also the same in that respect. Like, where do you put your priorities, and how do you prioritize?
Yeah.
I'd actually like say that I would put the less money on the camera these days and put more money into lights. Really. I mean, I can get an okay camera for like, I don't know, $50 or like 500 kroner, and just light it with some good Kino flow lights, and I make the picture look amazing, you know.
Or invest in on a good lens that could also film. I mean, in low light. I mean, lens and camera is always has been. I mean, arguable. What should you choose? Should I choose $300,000 dollar lens or a 300? I mean, because on my perspective, I always see lens is always help the value of the market. I mean, the price got sink maybe when it's getting a little bit older, but if you compare to the camera, the price sink. I mean, it's like
on the
normally 2 years. I mean, your camera probably have been half price.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, that's my conclusion. I mean, but the lens
is the value.
Sometimes get higher, higher. The lens. I mean, if you buy a really good lens and limited lens, the value could be increased.
Oh yes,
in
big
fact,
time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of what I'm thinking now, and I think, you know, when we were talking about the Carl Zeiss lenses before, I picked up like incrementally, not all at once, but I have a nice kit of Carl Zeiss ZE lenses, the classics, because you know they're really quite cheap now. But you know, I don't know how many pieces are floating around the world, and as time goes on, you know, you can't beat quality. Like if you pick up a decent quality glass, lens, you can't go wrong. And that's what's going to project that nice image onto your camera sensor. And exactly what you said, like a camera after 2 years is, out of date. Well, that's again debatable because, but camera body improvements are like jumping forward every day. It's amazing, the technology, But like you said, the quality...
it's getting smaller. Yeah.
Getting smaller and it's literally a sensor in a plastic box,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you compare the iPhone today, it's nearly same quality. I mean, back in the 90s, the first digital camera of the Sony or Panasonic one, they did the first version of this digital camera. I mean, even the iPhone has a better sensor than compared to that time. So back you can't have, if you want to chase technology, you can't always have the best
of course not.
Camera. You can have it, yes, you can have it, but you have to like get the chasing.
Yeah, I know.
But of course, constantly chasing is the best camera. Is that what you really want?
You should be focusing on like what do I do with the equipment that I have right now?
Yeah.
How do I create?
What do you need for your creation?
Yeah.
Ask yourself. You don't need the best camera to make a film.
Well, that's actually a good point. Like what we're saying there. If we had 10,000 krona or $1,000, and you were to like, okay, I need to have this equipment, like, what would be your choice of camera and lens and like audio for that money, to go out and create something, like what would be your decision there? Like, so you were saying before, like, let's get myself a good lens. I can pick up, a decent video or DSLR or something like this, or like a hybrid camera, and still get away with a good image, and then the audio and the light. Yeah.
That's pretty much of it. If you are filming alone, or you have maybe one or two in a small team.
Yeah.
So that's all you need, and also in the post-production, perhaps you need a PC or a Mac that could support that the material that you can handle it
say for example, if I was to only have that money and had the absolute desire to get that equipment, then I would probably get something with the most flexibility. There's so much good second-hand equipment out these days for such a great price that you can create some amazing content with the stuff that's available, just sitting in somebody's like apartment not being used because I don't know, Tom decides that he wants the brand new X camera, that his 2-year-old camera isn't that shiny anymore and doesn't get used, and he wants to sell it so he can buy, I don't know, a memory card for his new camera, and you pick it up for, I don't know, a fraction of what it cost. It's quite exciting actually for people who are on a budget or who are getting started these days, that you don't have to look for that brand new shiny camera, that just have a look on your used market and see what absolute gold you can find there and get creating with that.
Yeah, exactly. A red camera is, you compare in the beginning of 2009, the first, it was like 20,000, I guess, at least for the red one for 4.5K.
Yep.
And today you can get like $2,000 US dollar
for the camera itself. Yeah. It's
so
incredible.
It's like 10 times. How many years yeah, a little bit more than 10 years, and it's 10 times less, but the quality is still very good. You can create a very good content with even though it is very heavy, but the quality is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm filming actually on the Scarlett MX, the red, and I find, you know, if you light it well, it gives such a beautiful picture. Like,
yes,
it's about how you use your gear, really, at the end of the day, which separates the, let's say, boys to men.
yeah, exactly.
In that respect, like if you were to give me, hey Patrick, here's a Canon 500D and a whatever, I don't know, a Manphoto tripod or something like this. I would study the camera and see what I can do to create a good picture. There's a lot of techniques and tricks, but that comes with experience, of course. So I've been a little bit curious because I'm also developing in the filmmaking world. Distribution of content, distribution of getting your stuff up online, advertising it, promoting it, selling it. It's a complete other job, really. But not all of us have the luxury to sell.
That is why filmmaking is not a one-man job.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, to say you are if you are a person very creative on picture or sound or making something creative, then perhaps you are very big on selling things.
Yeah.
I mean, you some people could be very very smart on that, but I doubt many people. I mean, it could be very creative and also very smart on selling things.
Yeah.
So distribution, it's, I think, among the whole production is the most important part of filmmaking, because in the end of the day, that you wish your video to watch by a lot of people or just 100 people.
Yeah. It's a big difference.
Yeah, that makes a difference. And also the distribution, nowadays you have a lot of choice. You have YouTube's, you have Vimeo, and perhaps some other sites which I'm not really familiar with. But for example, YouTube, it's a free platform that you don't need to pay anything to start your channel and making content, and then you get paid. Depends where country you're from. If you're from Norway now, it's like 1,000 views. It's like, I think it's around 7 kroner or so.
Okay, at least it's something.
I mean, 1,000 views. If I don't know how long, like 10 minutes. Also, but that is different if you're in India or in Malaysia or
different story.
And but that's, you have the free channel to the whole world. But you have to compete with millions out there.
Yeah, big time.
That is the one thing. And then
that's a big scary game, by the way, being a YouTuber.
Yeah, I think so. Before you make a film, you also have to ask yourself who is your audience and who you want to make this film for. Because when it comes to distribution, it's you can just simply up to internet. It's fine, but you don't earn anything.
No.
I mean, if to survive as a filmmaker, then you have to get paid eventually to living as a filmmaker. So it's very important in very beginning of your process to talk to a distributor. That's I learned from a distributor.
Great. Again, a very deep subject to get into, but like briefly, like find somebody who's got the knowledge and be their best friend.
Yes. So to sell your film is also very important. So just don't make your film and then you don't know how to sell it. It's just in in your hard disk in your computer, and you have no way to go. That is pity.
What's the point in making it? Yeah. I guess in some respect. I mean, okay, if it's a private project, whatever, but if you want people to see it, then you need to distribute it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you have many ways to distribute it. You can try if you know some people work in a TV station or some producer in the industry that they could sell it to the TV station or perhaps Netflix, HBO. If you know somebody but it's also very big restriction now that you even though you are a producer, you need to have the distribution license in your country that you have produced at least 3-4 films before you can get into the Netflix or HBO industry. And also this is the same in the TV station that you have to know somebody to. I mean, my advice is try to contact some people that may have experience, could hold your hand, could help you, and you can help him or help her making creative content to that platform that they might need more of your content. So slowly, I mean, growing together, as I said, together.
It's important.
It's very important. Oof. And get the networks to know the people who is working inside the TV station, for example.
I've heard that one has to be very good at writing a summary. And a very good summary to even get considered.
Yes, yeah. You have to pitch your project. You have to very short and very precise. What your project about. This is going to sell. They when they hear your idea, they know at once this film going to sell or not. And this is very they are very direct. Yes is yes, no is no.
Exactly.
So, sometimes people take very personal and thinking my film has to be very big, and then they don't realize the reality that's what is your film going to aim. Like also in the cinema, that is even harder to get into the TV channel because you have to get selected, especially also documentary films. It is even harder to compare with fiction film. I mean, and also you have to compare with blockbuster. Why is your film so important? Why must the audience have to see your film?
I mean, also like say for example, if you do get rejected, figure out why you got rejected, because no today doesn't necessarily mean no tomorrow. You could pitch it to another person and then they take it. I think that's also something that people need to kind of come to realization that in the business world, like the filmmaking business, it's a fast pace, it's a stressful, it's a hectic business that someone might say, look, no, you pitched it wrong today, try again later. So then I want to briefly touch on actually about where you spend your time when looking at starting a production. Where do you invest the most energy? Just briefly.
I think to have a pre-production with the crew is also very important. Like talking about the concept of your film, how the mood of your film. Do you want to present it dark, heavy, or very comedy, or enlightenment, or it's very important how you want to present this idea.
Yep.
So I think it's good communication with if you're a director, good communication with your DOP and the light and the sound of thoughts also. What you want to, what is the mood of the film, what you wish to bring out, and then if it is good photography, they will immediately have image when you're talking. Oh, I want this scene to show scary or happiness with the light or the mood is very important. In pre-production, and then also the blocking, and then finding location as we earlier talked about. Is a lot of noise in the location. Or it's a lot of things to talk about in pre-production already, like costume. How should this person look like? Are we in the 70s, or are we in the now or in the future?
So it's all in the pre-production.
Yes, this you have to talk about all in the pre-production.
Big time. I agree.
And also, and also, of course, when it comes to the production, then when you come to the production, then everything is saving costs. You have to save a lot. Most days you can have a recording days because everybody have to get paid. Let's say if you have 5 day extra, if you have, let's say, 10 people extra on set, and each person you have to pay $200.
Okay.
That is already extra money for the production. So you have to be very precise on the pre-production to plan your days, how many days you are going to shoot. And then also, basically just action, cut. And next. You don't have much time to discuss. But if you have a luxury producer, then maybe you can talk about if you are like, let's say, a director like Steve McQueen, for example. Then you have the budget to talk about on the set. But mostly people, they don't use a lot of time on the production.
No.
And then also the post. Also, it depends. Some editors they edit a story. I mean, from the manuscript. Also, you have the director also sits beside when they start already. When they cut together, or simply just the editor edit one edition and show the director, and then maybe just changing from there. So it's different. So it's up to you what kind of production that you are in, and the people that you work before, that they know your mood, they know your production, what you want to present. So. Knowing your team is also very important.
Great. So, where are you going, Liew? What is your goal for the next 5 years?
5 years.
Just a random question out of the blue.
I wish I still making film. I still have a lot of idea to make film. Because just one thing, if people, if they fed up everything, they don't have the passion about things, then probably this person has no reason for living anymore. So
So grim.
So in 5 years, I wish to produce a film that I wish to tell the world, and also do like collaborative thing for working for people that get the bigger network to know more people in the industry.
Hopefully we work together again soon.
Yes, sure, absolutely. And what else? 5 years, maybe making a film in India.
Oh, sounds
Or,
interesting.
Or in Brazil, or Japan.
Hey, why not?
China, yeah, why not?
Dream big. 5
that-
years is 5 years.
Yeah, I would love to. Meet people. I will and explore. Not just in film, but personal experience.
Yeah. Also, just before we wrap up this podcast, just super quickly, have you got any advice for our lovely creators out there? What would your one sentence creative life advice be?
I think always trust your intuitive, that how you the first impression sometimes it's very important. I don't know, for me, and you work together and then you have this impression, trust that impression, and also be helpful. Leave yourself open, and don't close yourself, because when one thing is also very sad if you don't hear the other talk. Metaphorically, if you're in yourself very you don't listen to the others, then you are not open anymore.
No.
And yeah, basically that's all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Liew, I want to thank you for coming on the debut podcast of A&I's. I'm going to wrap up this conversation now because we've had a lovely conversation for, let's have a look, over 2 hours. Fun.
Yes.
Yes, I thank you greatly to kick off the podcast series, and hope it do it justice. And I look forward to hearing from you again in the near future, and hopefully to work together in the near future. And I want to salute you, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this creative creation and being a part of the conversation professionally. And we'll talk to each other soon, man.
Thank you, Patrick. It's an honor to be your first guest in the podcast.
Yoo-hoo! All right, man. Take care,
Yes,
and
okay.
take it easy.
Yes. Bye-bye.